And now let's hear from some of these students. First, we're going to have a speaker from the undergraduate program. Daniel Sullivan, will you please come forward?
Thank you. Dean Fraker, Chairwoman Camario, faculty, parents, honored guests, and fellow students. I'm very honored to speak today on behalf of the undergraduate class of 2007. Let me start by saying that when I first told a friend of mine that I was speaking at Commencement, he said, "At the Greek?" And I said, "Well, yeah." Then he said, "Well, you know, JFK spoke at the Greek." And I thought, oh man, JFK spoke at the Greek? But luckily, it turns out for me, JFK never actually spoke at the Greek. He spoke at Memorial Stadium just down the street. So I promise to edit Wikipedia about that when I get home. We live in a complex society today. This is not the generation of my parents. Back then, it was clear that war was bad and that we needed peace, and that the freedoms of speech and religion and separation of church and state were clearly defined. Well, I guess part of that clarity comes from hindsight. Nonetheless, we are currently involved in some of the most cataclysmic changes ever experienced. Our government has become a spy into our personal lives. We go to war to save the products of consumption. We value the rights of corporations over the rights of individuals. Really, I usually listen to NPR, and most often I want to turn off the radio and wait to laugh about the news on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. It's easier that way. Because if I had to process everything that I heard in the news and everything that I saw on the street, I'm not sure I could search for reasons not to be jaded. But I'll tell you, I found one of those reasons in studying design. Now, I'm an architecture student and very much of that mindset, so I should express that bias right out front. But in terms of design, I really speak for all disciplines within the College of Environmental Design. There's something about design that gives us hope. I mean, we're designing the future. There's something great about the notion that you can actually create things not yet considered, and that you can plan for circumstances not yet in effect. That's what design is about. It's about creation. Every act of design is an act of creation. Often people think of architects and landscape architects and city planners as simply that. But what is it that we're really creating? Well, we create private spaces and social spaces and spaces for civic organization and also devices for civic calming. So what we're really designing here is a social and political landscape. As environmental designers, we have a rigorous academic program in addition to our studio program. We study English, calculus, physics, materials science, structures, theory, and all this in addition to studio, and I'll actually come back to studio a little bit later. I mean, why would someone need to take so many classes just to learn to design pretty buildings and attractive outdoor spaces? Well, because we're actually engaged in the study of something so much more than just what lies within a building's walls, or a courtyard, or within a city's limits. We are engaged in the design of the human experience. We acknowledge that no decision that we make can be considered outside of the context of the greater societal, political, and environmental system in which it exists. We are constantly in consideration of the network of those issues that exist surrounding our sites, our cities, and humanity as our client. But what of this planet as our client? There is no argument within the scientific community that global warming is caused by humans. And you don't have to ask Al Gore, just ask the thousands of scientists that have come to that consensus. Just the fact that Fox News suggests that there's a debate about global warming doesn't make it the truth. We are responsible for the melting ice sheets. We are responsible for the Spare the Air days. We're responsible for the snow leopard's extinction. Our consumption dictates every acre of the rainforest that's burned, every species that's extinct, and every child that suffers with asthma needlessly. Our drive to the gas station is an act of creation, or perhaps even desecration. And again, there are times that I turn off the Discovery Channel not wanting to see the devastation, not wanting to see another story of polluted groundwater in developing nations. But we can change this pattern of destruction and injustice. And the people on this stage, as they head off to design school and law school and into the world of work, are just the ones to do it. My father had a bumper sticker on his car when I was a little kid, and it said, "If you want peace, work for justice." Well, there is clearly a need for peace in this world, and a lot of injustice. Our president wants to build a fence between the U.S. and Mexico. A fence. We have schools that can't teach evolution. Poor neighborhoods are still filled with blacks and Latinos. I still can't marry my partner. It's not over. We're still fighting for racial, political, and environmental justice. And that is why I design. That's why I create. That's why I slept under my workstation in studio for 3 years. I mean, you do know this, right? Y'all paid for cute apartments on the south side, but your kids actually slept on the floor. And in the same clothes for days sometimes. And ate microwave dinners from Ramona's and drank gallon upon gallon of coffee. In any case, you don't commit to that path unless you really believe that you can make a difference, that what you do means something. That's why I look at everything I do as an act of creation. I seek to inspire people through my design, and I seek to create equality through my designs. And here, you are looking at the creators of the new American Reconstruction. Man, are you lucky. I've seen these people in action. And I have to tell you, I know many of these people by name, and many of them by their snoring patterns as well. See, when you go through design school with people, you really learn a lot about people's motivations and values. I have to say that I feel safe knowing that these are the people that will craft the future. They are the masterminds, the technocrats, the bureaucrats, the visionaries that will create the next new world. They are the urbanists, the formalists, and the algotexturalists that will create the new aesthetic. And they are the environmentalists that will say, "No, Mr. President, science speaks louder than special interest." They are our defense against regimes of oppression and our safeguards against apathy. They are the legacy of Berkeley's revolutionary history. So, I feel that since I opened talking about JFK's appearance at Berkeley, that I should end with a quote from him from 1962 that he might have been surprised to find so pertinent today. "Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike, that the torch has been passed to a new generation, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, and proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed and to which we are committed today." Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2007, thank you.